Welcome everyone to another episode of Black Metal Legends. Today we have Apollyon of Coffin, Storm, and Aura Noir, and he is not only extremely talented and a multi-musician, he's also been a part of some amazing projects in the past as well. So, for example, he recorded drums on Satanic Art by Dodheimsgard, and then he's also played live guitars for Gorgoroth and did their special DVD as well. And he used to be the bass player for Immortal and was also on the Seventh Date of Blashuk as well. So, Apollyon's got a lot of talent and experience in the industry, and it's great to have you on.
Thanks for having me.
I just want to start off by asking, and what was the first instrument you started learning? Because you've done bass, vocals, guitars, drums. What was the first thing you started learning?
Piano.
Oh, epic.
Yeah, it could have been, but I think I only played it for 4 years when I was, I think, 7 till 11. But and my father played piano, so I would listen to him, and I I liked some of the stuff he was playing, and that's basically what I wanted to learn, or I don't know. But I was forced, to learn basics and terrible children's songs, and the only thing I did was just play them faster and faster, and and then I got told off, next time by the teacher, and don't play so fast, and sit straight, and your fingers must be I don't know. So very, I don't know. I'm not blaming her, but that's maybe the way they used to teach people back in the day, and not the right way for me. So I ended up just quitting because I was playing football. I was much more into that, and I did gymnastics too. But I just kept on with the football and dropped everything else. But I regret it though, because it's like in hindsight, it's probably the best instrument to start with, because of all, I don't know. It seems easy to just move over to other instruments after you've played piano for a while. So, but and funny thing is that piano is the only instrument where I know where all the notes are, like, but I can't do anything. I can't improvise anything on a piano. I feel like totally stuck with all these, I don't know, notes, and maybe it's the way I was taught or something, but I can't play around with the piano much. I can play around with a guitar or drums or whatever, even if I don't know which note I'm playing, unless it's way down on I know, like the open strings and stuff, but then it gets difficult. So I don't know. It's I like I said, I regret quitting, but it had to be done.
I think that's quite an interesting thing that you've brought up because there were some people who I used to teach who are like classical guitarists,
Mm.
and they, I think like improvisation and creativity is so important, especially if you want to write your own music, but
Mm.
it's kind of taken back from people who learn from just learning and reading sheet music. Because then it's kind because for some people it's kind of like they can't play or do anything without the sheet music. They need that there. And
Yeah.
in some ways, that's a really, really good skill, of course. There's nothing wrong with sticking to sheet music. It's more a case of it can be very restrictive. And I think that's one of the cool things about guitars as well, is because it's easier to think of like boxes and patterns with a guitar as opposed to like with a piano, because with a piano, I guess, from what I know anyway, is that you're kind of, if you're in a key, you're almost kind of locked in as
Mm.
well. There's a little bit more on like the freedom side with guitars. Um, yeah.
Kind of. Yeah, at least how I see it. But I also teach or taught kids for a year or something when I was living up in the mountains. And they're old by now, so I won't brag or anything because I was probably a horrible teacher. But still, what I did was I didn't care about the notes at all. I mean, I taught. We had like guitar lessons and bass and drums, but with the guitar students, I just played drums, and I told them to make either we played some song they wanted to play, but I remember the last half year we did. I've told them to make riffs, even if they were like very simple. But so they all came up with riffs for every rehearsal, and we kind of combined them and made songs. And at the end of the year, they all came back to my house and we recorded them. So they all of them got their own song like recorded, and everything was quite punkish, because it was much of the but still, I think at least for me that would have been the best way to learn an instrument, and then you can like go deeper into the notes and all that. But I mean, in the beginning, just see what possibilities you have, and that you can actually make cool stuff without knowing that much theory and all that. So I think it was so much cooler for a 10-year-old to have your own song recorded by the end of the year than having learned I don't know, Tom Dooley or something.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a really, really good way of doing things. And I another point that in there, which is to start playing and not only playing some of your own stuff and making your own riffs, but also playing those with other people as well, because
Mm.
then you get more used to that band environment, listening out to the other musicians, and then getting yourself
Yeah.
completely locked in as well. And that's such an important skill to not only focus on what you're playing, but to listen out to what the
Yeah,
other.
I know it's super important. So you can't really get that by sitting home by yourself. So yeah, what I would do, I was playing drums with the guitar students, and I played guitar with the drum students. So we just, I don't know, I was having fun because I was sort of practicing too. Even if it was, simple, it was good practice for me. I got more steady with my drum playing.
So after piano, did you pick up guitar next, or bass, or drums? What was after that?
That was guitar. Um, so probably around 15 years old. Um, then I bought my first guitar and amplifier. I did have a classical one because we were taught guitar at school, like the boring way, and I thought it was horrible. Classical guitar, I couldn't really, my fingers weren't strong enough or whatever. So I didn't get the best grades in guitar playing, but it was much more fun when I bought the electrical one and electric guitar. So after that, yeah, but still, so this was in my eighth grade when I bought my guitar, but then I went to like when I was 17 and started whatever school, college, or th- what's after secondary.
Oh, we say college as well. Yeah.
When I met other guys like the Olav, I'm using the normal names that I play in Coffin Storm with now. That's when I met him, and that's like when when it all really started, and because then I could play with other people. Before I just played some by myself at home, and it didn't really get me anywhere. It wasn't super fun. I never enjoyed just playing alone by myself.
Yeah. No, I get you. That all makes sense. And what was the band that got you into heavy metal anyway?
Firstly was Kiss because that's what was forced upon us, like everyone. Um, I'm repeating myself and probably everyone else too because we had these like assorted goodie bags that the parents would give their kids every Saturday, and they contained sweets, obviously, but also trading cards, and there were Kiss trading cards and ABBA, and so my sister would get the ABBA or Bee Gees ones, whereas I would get Kiss, and all other boys too. So when I like in first grade when I started in school, all the boys were Kiss fans, even if only maybe two or three of us had actually heard the music. But that's kind of how it started, and then um, there wasn't too much metal going on after that. I even had a period of, because we got cable TV, that was kind of a revelation for us, because we only had like the one TV station and maybe two radio stations before that. And they would not play any metal, that at least not what I heard. So we had to rely on older brothers, and we didn't have, in my school there weren't too many cool older brothers. But yeah, like 84, I think we got Sky Channel, like from, was that from the UK? So and with Monsters of Rock with Mick Wall presenting videos, and yeah, that's and when I saw that Hell Awaits video for the first time, that's even if I didn't understand anything, I just was so amazed by. I hadn't seen that kind of head banging that Jeff Hanneman was doing, or Tom Araya looked and sounded very evil and vicious and charismatic at the same time. It was. I just knew that I had to get a hold of that album. It took me a year, I think, um, but yeah, because before that I'd seen, there were videos around that I'd seen, like Run to the Hills, but I don't know why they all made these silly videos and those Twisted Sister videos with the. No, they were very silly. It didn't really. I don't know. I wasn't too amazed by all that. So I've I've come back to lots of the normal metal, but I thought it sort of went directly from Kiss and then somewhere in between with Duran and whatever, and then thrash metal from there.
Cool. And speaking of thrash metal, do you prefer the big four from the States or the big four from Europe and Germany?
Nah, it's like 50-50, I guess. Back then, I don't know. I was kind of alone in at least until college in my love for all this thrash metal. So I had what I'd recorded. There was some radio shows, like two every week, like really late at night. I wasn't probably not allowed to stay up, but I was like taping the shows, and so. But if you were unlucky and like bought the wrong album, you probably would go buy something from a different band next time. So, uh, but big four, let's say, I was was very into Metallica and also Slayer. Metallica were probably the greatest for me back then. And but also Creator, I was very into that. So I don't know what I prefer. At least not Megadeth. I never really been much of a Megadeth fan. I like one song on each album, but but that's how it goes. And Anthrax, I used to love, and I love the first couple of, yeah, at least Spreading the Disease, very good. Um, it's in hindsight, maybe it's like 50-50, Germany and Switzerland and stuff, and the San Francisco guys.
Going back to your playing as well. So out of all of out of everything that you've done in your recordings, drums, guitar, and bass, what has been the most fun?
The least fun is bass. That's and I'm not sure. I think I've never really played bass like properly in a band preparing for an album, have I? Hmm. Not really. It's like I've done bass on albums, but I haven't like been rehearsing a year or half a year and before rehearsing the songs properly. So that's more of a necessary evil to me, and not a big fan. But if I had played bass in, for example, for instance, Coffin Storm, or if I had like been the bass player, I would have probably had fun because it's slower stuff, and you, I don't know, it's maybe I could like experiment with different things, but it kind of it's sad to say, but bass is not like the first thing you think about when making songs, and they just tend to end up playing the same as the guitars, or more or less. Um, so so that's bass. Guitar. I think drums are the most fun to just sit down and play. And very rarely sit down and play guitar. I usually just use it to make music. Um, but then again, it's fun to come up with melodies and things on the guitar as well. But I think drums are the most fun. I never had drums though. I'm I've always been the annoying guy who plays during breaks and at the rehearsals. But I think they're the most fun to play. But like in a live setting, again, guitar, no, drums are not as fun because they're always, they're never the way you left them after the sound check, or they're not like the ones you're used to back at the rehearsal place. But the guitar is always the same. So I'm not even sure.
Cool. No, that's no, that's all good because that's one thing I wanted to ask with about your time in Dodheimsgard,
Mm,
because satanic art has is one of the more influential releases to come out around when did it come out? 1997, 8, 9? It I can't remember when.
Probably 97. I know he went on tour with Dimmu Borgir and Dark Funeral. That was in 99, but that was with the album that came after that. So it
Hmm.
must have been before 99 at least, maybe 97.
Yeah. So with the writing process for satanic art, how was it? Because you've got quite a cool lineup of people in there, and it's more the writing of traces of reality that I'm
Mm,
really really curious about, because you've got all of these like long singing melodic sections that just go on and on and on and on and on,
mm.
and long, and they do repeat, but it's after like 16 or 32 bars or however. So
Yeah.
what was the general like writing process for that, and how much of the writing did you contribute to satanic art?
I did not contribute very much to that. I think that's when Vikotnik solo, or that's when he kind of took over the whole band. Before the album, before that, we all contributed, but we sort of changed style with every album. So, and yeah, it's very, I guess it's very Thorns inspired still, but he had this thing with making riffs that were super long, and but I think at that yeah, with that mini or whatever it is, that was like the highlight for me with the band. But it was kind of, none of us could really play it because it was too too fast and too advanced. Probably the only one who could play it well was what's his name, Tom Rune, the Dimmeborger Old Man's Child guy.
Hmm.
um and the rest was just trying as the best we could. But then when we came in studio, I got this drum kit that, so it was impossible to play slow. I think it was brand new and was like the producer's brother's brand new kit or something, and it just it was impossible to play slow, so everything went, it was just so extremely fast. But that was then.
Yeah,
Yeah, good times, and we were rehearsing properly beforehand, and even before the uh, what's that 666 album too. But then I don't know, something happened, and we they decided, this was in, I don't know, there was something with the production going on these days when people had found out about the use of click track and copy paste and doing fancy stuff that maybe was fancy then, but now it's maybe uh, not so fancy. But so and I wasn't too keen on that whole thing, so I left the band after that. We were kind of on different planets. So yeah, but Satanic Art, great, very very happy with that one.
for sure. Yeah, because that's from what I've listened to of Dodheim's like that's probably my favorite out
Mm,
of all of it, just because it's got I love that. I love the speed element. I love the aggressive element. I like how everything's kind of like weird and experimental in a
mm,
way, but still extremely focused. So that's interesting. You mentioned the like the copy paste style of recording. So with with the music that you're recording or have recorded, is it more the case of like you're trying to play everything in one take, or you're just trying to or you do like multiple takes of one song or pick the best parts of the song in like a comping kind of way? Like how do you go about it?
depends on the song. If it has like a long middle section that's totally quiet, whatever, you can always jump in and do that. But I prefer to do one take with yeah, and anything from drums to guitars. It does sound better, but you know, I'm jumping into lots of times. So, but trying my best to do everything in one take. Yes, but I have done. I think the last time we did, or probably the only time, was the second Cadaver record I was in, and that was like the same time. This was something that was brand new to us, and some people were more excited than others about it. But in the end, I thought the only song that sounds good today is the one that we didn't use click track on. So because I don't know, they were so excited. Yeah, you just have to play the riff once, and we'll just paste it or the and but uh, not a good way to work. But I don't know, you get excited about the new technology and stuff. And I wish we hadn't.
Mm,
Mm.
I get you. I get you. That makes that's understandable as well because you lose that kind of purity if things are like more copied and pasted.
Yeah, it gets boring after a while too, because it's nice that the next verse doesn't sound exactly like the first one. Kind of lasts longer.
Cool. And moving on to Coffin Storm, uh,
Mm.
because the album's fantastic, and I
Yeah.
just want to know what's because it just kind of came out of nowhere. So what was the like kind of seed for Coffin Storm, and what was the general kind of writing process, and how did it all come about?
If I remember correctly, no, at this point I was a bit tired of live playing and all that with Noir, and So I stopped playing live with them, and we didn't. I don't know. We kind of had a little break there, so I had nothing going on, and me and Olav, the guy I met in college, we used to be in this doom metal band called Lamented Souls. So like me and him and Einar, who played with tons of bands from Colbotn, and Simon Vortex, who played with Dimmu and Arcturus. So he was our drummer on the first demo when he started in our class. But then we discovered, or we let him sing because the first demo was more like slow death or no, Paradise Lost ish stuff, or a hybrid of everything really. Just some people wanted to play more black metal, but it was slow and yeah, like doomish. But then it became more proper doom after when we let him sing and play guitar instead. But then he kind of was discovered by, I think it was VII and who borrowed him first for some shows, and then it was Arcturus and Borknagar, and we never saw him again really. So that band kind of really or didn't really go anywhere. But we still have loads of material, and me and Ola, we made all the music always as well. So we even took like one old song. The title track for the album is an old Lamented Soul song. But yeah, we hadn't played together in, I don't know, 10, 15 years, and I just asked if he wanted to meet up and just play guitar together um, once a week. And of course he agreed, and we just did that. And after a while, songs were starting to take shape, and I went behind the drum kit to check, to make some recordings and try it out at home and have some more guitars on there and stuff. So, and then he played one of the demos to Fenris, who liked it, and he also asked if he wanted to sing. So, and in the beginning, I thought that we were, because I only recorded this with like overheads and a snare and a kick mic, I guess, and some of the takes are only with two overheads in the rehearsal place. I was expecting or assuming that we would maybe go to some proper studio to record it, but they liked the sound, and I did too actually. So we ended up just using those rehearsal place takes. Yeah, I like the vibe of that. I always, with the extreme or death metal bands before, we were always disappointed when the album came out, especially if they had been recording somewhere that wanted to mass produce a certain sound, like the Sunlight sound or Morris sound. So yeah, I'm happy about the way it turned out, even if it's far from perfect. I've learned some stuff that I will do differently next time, I guess.
Cool. No, no, because I was so all of the guitars and the drums and even the vocals were recorded in a rehearsal studio.
No, just the drums, and yeah, probably one like guide guitar. The one, because he was playing guitar when I was playing drums. I don't know if I kept. I I'm really a big mess when working in, because I haven't done much studio work. Maybe this is like the fourth or something album I'm trying to mix, but yeah, it was all a big mess with all the files and things. So I'm not sure which takes are on the album, and who's playing where and when. But yeah, basically just the at least the drums in the rehearsal place, and most of the guitars back here, and the Fenris's vocals at his place.
Brilliant. That's
Mm.
cool. What amps and guitars did you use for Coffin Storm?
We use Yeah. I think we mainly used my like I'm not much of a tech guy. I have my Les Paul that I bought in 1991, and this amp is it JCM 800 with a two by 12 cab. Yeah, I had that since the 90s, and so that's what we used. Mainly my Les Paul, but also Olav's this one Explorer thing. Can you see
Hmm.
the brown?
Yep.
He used a lot of I don't know effects and pedal stuff. I didn't use any of that. I just like it, straight in. But then I don't know, halfway into the process, or when I was sitting home and trying to finish the album and all that, I felt like I deserved a new amplifier, like for its first time in what's that, 33 years. So I bought this Engel thing. I just from a guy down the road, or it's and uh, and with a cabinet. So I used that for because I was excited because it was something new. I wish I hadn't used the cabinet though, because I don't know. It sounds Marshall cabinet sounds much cooler. At least it's with these. If 5150s had been cheaper, I would probably go for one of them, because I think it's so easy to get a nice sound. It's even if the 800 feels very dry, and it's not. I don't know. It doesn't. I don't know. It's just. But I think the 800 is very good for the sound guy, because you can do so much with it afterwards. Because it doesn't have all that distortion and things, so it's easy to create something cool without. But when you're sitting there playing, it feels heavy and not extremely much sustain. And so I was, yeah, I went and bought that England. I used it for maybe two songs, at least they opened the gallows. I wish I hadn't, because in the end I found I have no fucking Marshall versions of that song, and I should have had. But well, I've learned it the hard way. Well, what do you think? But I haven't really tried all the channels, or everything on there. I'm just it's much.
Yeah, because I did notice that there is like a little bit of tone change on some of the songs, but it's
I
not.
think Open the Gallows too probably only is no, I mean Open the Gallows and what's that, Ceaseless Abandon. I think maybe those two are with only the angle thing, so they sound a bit different. But there are also like three different drum takes, and they all sound different. Uh, but yeah,
The thing is even after all of that, the result still works,
yeah,
and
yeah.
the responses for Coffin Storm has just been incredible. Because it was just
Mhm.
like this thing came out of nowhere, and it's kind of like you've got Apollyon and Fenris in the band, and they've created like this cool like doom, uh, kind of like evil rock and roll kind of thing. It's kind of like, oh, let's check this out, and it's so fucking groovy. And it's
Yeah.
it's awesome. But it's interesting you mentioned that with the angle and how you wanted something a bit more martially, because I was just talking to my friend about this today,
Mhm.
and so I've got here a
Mhm.
VS100 and the JVM,
Mhm.
and the JVM's the most recent acquisition, but I find myself just slowly drawn to it.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's like the angles sound at least like the Fireball is one of my favorite amps, and there's some days where I'm like, oh my God, this is the best thing in the world. But then
Mm,
part of me always comes back to like that Marshall style brightness.
yeah.
Something is shinier than the
Mm.
Engels, and
But I mean, if you would just want to sit down and play around, it's like if you're not a great guitarist, playing classical guitar sounds terrible, but it sounds slightly better with a Marshall because it has that fuzz, and it's the same like upgrade from a Marshall to the Engel because it has more distortion and you can kind of hide behind it, or it feels better in a way. But is when you mix it, even if it's live or in the studio, I think at least for me it's much easier to create something cool with a more dry signal, um even if it's difficult to play for the guitarist.
yeah, because there is a learning curve in a way because the less gain you have, the more precise and tighter you have to be,
Yeah.
and to get more of an aggressive sound, the more you have to actually play the thing,
Mm,
and maybe that's what it is. It's just that level of response from a Marshall as opposed to an Engel, because the Engel kind of just like you plug in and you go, but with the
mm,
Marshall, you kind of got to think about your playing a bit more. But in terms of like the actual sound quality as well, like I did a video on the channel comparing the Powerball and the Fireball um, and the Marshall, and the Marshall just sounded the brightest.
yeah.
And in a kind of like a live or rehearsal environment, I would probably go. Well, I've been using the Fireball for years, but I'm really curious to how the JVM's going to be. And when it comes to your tone and what you look for in guitars, like what do you normally go for? And when it comes to like pickups, do you have any preferences?
No, I don't know what pickups I have or anything. If there's a humbucker, I'll use that. But no, I have no idea. But you know, I feel that it's different, obviously, because I got this Jeff Hanneman guitar from uh, back in the day when I was joining Immortal. I actually didn't have a bass. I never had a bass or drums. Right? So I said, maybe, do you guys have like a sponsor or something because you're huge? And but they had never thought of that. But I the manager fixed us an ESP deal, so I got all these basses, and I said, I don't need. I just needed the one bass. Can I have a guitar next time instead of two basses every year? Uh, so I got this, and it's nice because it has the whammy bar, and it's Jeff Hanneman, and I noticed it has some extra frets too because I was doing some melodic guitar parts for Coffin Storm, and I needed the brightest fret there. Um, and I notice also that obviously the pickups are more aggressive than they are on the Les Paul, so a bit more. If I play the Marshall, it will feel slightly better because it's more aggressive.
Yeah, and that's what I found as well. Is like because lately just been using active pickups. Like all the guitars I've got out at the moment all have active pickups, and I
Mm,
find Marshalls and active pickups just kind of work. Well, at least I prefer the sound to like passives with a Marshall because
yeah,
it's like that tighter mid range that just makes everything a bit more kind of like knife edge,
yeah.
a bit more kind of like piercing as opposed to like slightly flubby and bassy. But with passive pickups, it just works well for Engels as well. It's a kind of again, it's kind of like what it's all down to the player really and the kind
Mm,
of sound that they want. Because I like that super articulate
yeah.
kind of sound. It's like those Aura Noir riffs, and you can just totally tell that they're like blasphemer riffs because he's doing all like the fast tremolo picked chromatic stuff
Mm,
and like the kind of like spell riffs I don't know.
Yeah, or it could be even be Carmichael. It depends. Glassimer made stuff for the last couple of albums. Not he hardly made anything before that, I think. But yeah, he made much of the Out to Die and the latest album. I think. Mm. But I recognize it even with Carl Michael also makes those things.
No, it's epic because I was at the Aura Noir show in London. That was the highlight of the day, man. Like I was
Mm.
only there for that Saturday, and I really only came for you guys, and it
Mm.
was just like, yeah, this is what I need right now.
We are quite excited nowadays, or at least it's nice to be back. The four of us again. So all the shows we did last year were really good, but then we hadn't played for I think since November, December or something. So we were actually in the middle of making new songs now. Me and Carl Michael and the drummer Christian. We've been both me and Carmichael are playing guitar at rehearsals, and we're making new songs. So it was kind of, and we have obligations that we didn't have 30 years ago. So it's a bit difficult to have three people, even three people meet every week. So just going back to rehearsing old songs was a bit of a, I don't know, setback.
Because I've seen you guys twice. I saw you guys, it's years back. I think it was 2011 or 2012
Mm.
when Live Evil
Mm.
was, I think, there was the Underworld show at Live Evil. That was amazing.
Mm.
And then after seeing you get guys again at the ballroom as well. Where did the phrase "the ugliest band in the world"? Who coined that, and where did that come from? Because
I
that's
think it was something. I think that's something. Definitely, Carmichael or Aggressor came up with. I'm guessing it's some Venom related. He's huge Venom fan, aren't they? Like the worst band. I don't know. Possibly, but it kind of fits. Fits us. And at least the way originally we only wanted to play really ugly, non-hummable riffs or like ugly stuff. So it's just we kept saying that ugliest band in the world. It's it's a nice thing to say.
yeah, it's brilliant. I love it. It just works for the sound of Aura Noir as well.
Mm.
And that Gibson behind you, is that the one that you did for live in Krakow with Gorgoroth? Was that the one that went on the Gorgoroth tour as
Yeah, yeah.
well? All
Mm.
right, sweet. So how was it? First, how did you get to join Gorgoroth for the tour? And what was your experience like? Learning the Gorgoroth songs, playing the songs, and touring with the guys.
Mm. It was I actually hadn't heard much of the music before I agreed to join for those shows. So yeah, but I had known Infernus for some time. It's a bit divided, the whole West Coast and East Coast scene in Norway. So, but we met occasionally when they were in town, or yeah, we were kind of never in Bergen, but whenever they came over for shows or something, we hung out. So yeah, I'd known him for some time, and he asked, I guess, or was it? I'm not even sure. It's uh, it's a long time ago. But yeah, I just got the set list and learned the songs the best I could just by myself, and then I went over there to play with the whole band. But yeah, it so I just did. I think there was a pre-Inferno concert. Was it in Oslo? like warm up for the Infernal Festival, and then the show in Krakow and Warsaw, and then South America tour, and that was it.
All right. And what was your favorite Orgoroth song to play live?
Probably Possessed, or I can't remember the name of the songs. The one Einar had made for the newest album back then, what was that? Blod og minne, nei. It was very Dark Throne-ish. Um,
Yeah, because I know it's
there were a couple, and also the ones that um, yeah, like the Destroyer song and a couple of others. It's important to me when I'm up on stage or whatever that that I I feel the songs and that they have some kind of power to make me possessed or just drift away and be somewhere else. Fortunately, there were also cool older songs. So and it was nice to travel with the. I hung out with Einar and Gal a lot when we were out playing.
yeah, and when it came to like the actual logistics of the stage shows as well, how did it go about? Because in the Krakow show, you've got all of these sheep heads. You think you've got like a couple people on like crucifixes, blood everywhere. Like, first of all, whose idea was it to go that extreme in the visual display? And who actually organized getting everything put together? Was it one of the promoters? Did you like bring anything with you, or how did it go?
Um, it was. I actually saw a clip yesterday, or I didn't see the clip, but it was just a picture. I think it was Dimmeborge from '98 or something. That must have been the same place. I think that there was a guy, the organizer. He rented this TV studio in Krakow to have bands come over there and record like cheap DVDs or live shows that were going to be released on DVD. So we actually did one song twice. I remember because something happened. Yeah, I remember probably one of the girls fainted or something during the first song, or was it second? So, uh, so before we left, we saw a DVD or two, some other bands who had been recording there, and the stage it looked terrible. It looked like some Eurovision stage, kind of with lights coming from underneath and like yeah, much lights and things everywhere. So I think we all agree that we have to do something with that stage because it looks just not very black metal. So and they were into the sheep heads because of I don't know, it's maybe the black metal thing or for the the sheep are just for following yeah, so something is not good with with sheep, and I'm not too big a fan of sheep myself because they just uh, they seem very unintelligent and just lie in the middle of the road and they don't move when they're supposed to, and shit all over the place. So we just ordered from the probably just told the promoter to order some sheep's heads from the butchers and also blood. uh, and then Infernus's idea was to have naked women on crosses, and then I said that's fucking cheesy. Can we at least have? What if we have both guys and women? That's way more disturbing and not as porno or whatever. And Gal went yes, and so did. I think the rest were up for it too. Mm, and I thought it was great, but when we came there on the day of the show, the butcher had brought way too many of these his leftovers. So many heads. We in the end we just had to pile the heads underneath all these crosses. And the crosses they had built, they weren't very stable. So I don't know. These people were supposed to stand on them for an hour. So I remember telling them to fix, the fix them so they were more comfortable, and to put like bags over their heads so they wouldn't have their faces on there for all eternity. Um, so that was that, and then I think two of the people we met them before the show. These people on crosses, and I think two or three of them were like Gorgoroth fans, but one at least one of the girls was not. She didn't know what she was going to uh, at all, and probably was a bit the stench was terrible there, and very warm and everything. So during the first song she fainted, so we stopped playing and took her down, and then the other girl too, just because she was a girl. I don't know why, but after the first song, every time I looked around, it was straight into this guy's cock, and so there were only guys for the rest of the show, which was, I don't know, better than just two girls, if you ask me. More disturbing, at least. But yeah, and then you had these guys in the middle of the crowd going like Sieg Heil in the middle of certain parts of the songs, and I found that extremely unpleasant. But after the show, then nobody cares about that. But they're accusing us of like animal abuse and blasphemy, and so I think even the promoter had to go to jail for a year or two. The Pope was from Krakow at that time, so it was extra bad for them. But I mean, I'm sure all of them heard Sieg Heils too, but didn't care. But naked women on the crosses, that was too much.
Because that Gorgoroth show and that event and what became of it was such like was a spectacle in a way, I guess. Do you think that might have been an influence for the more kind of extravagant stage shows that a lot of bands have now? Do you think that could have been one of the catalysts for it? Because I could see that kind of being a thing. Is because I don't want to name drop too much, but you've got lots of bands now who have like displays on the back and their own take on like fires and bones and stuff. Do you think that Gorgoroth show and your guys' ideologies helped kind of make things more intimidating with the stage show?
I've never thought of that. Like I said, we just thought that stage looked terrible and would fit Eurovision, but we just had to do something about it. But yeah, who knows? I think it's a good thing to have a bit of a stage show, at least if you're not a very exciting band to watch, then it helps a lot with effects and things, and I'm all for that. It can be over the top, of course, but I don't know, this kind of yeah, I have no idea, basically.
Going back to your writing and the kind of more primal style of approach to the way you write specifically, because it's very kind of old school, it's ugly, it's aggressive. it's got this kind of like quality to it. How
Mhm.
how important do you think it is for a band to kind of have that, and how important do you think that is to black and extreme metal as a genre?
I always liked um there are different ways, of course. I don't always write, do I? But
I mean, I mean,
yeah, but I am very punkish in my way of writing, at least some, yeah, that kind of music. And I love attitude more than technical skill and stuff. So that's probably why I'm hiding behind attitude, to because lack of skill, lack of talent. But uh yeah, I'm not even sure, but I've been listening to this music for so many years, and I know what I like, and I know how I think it should be, at least in my bands. And I'm fortunate to work with people who have much of the same mindset. So, um, but that's probably because we're mostly from the same age and same area too. None of us are into Wasp and what are all those bands called from Motley Crue? No, they have some okay stuff, but that's not uh, uh, something that we want to incorporate in our music. Uh, so if uh, if you want anything that's not thrash metal, it's yeah, I'd rather include something more punkish, probably.
yes, and again another really important point is like that the attitude, and it's almost like that people say it's not what you say, it's how you say. It's almost the same for guitar because, or even music in general. It's not like it's not really what you play, it's how you play it,
Mm.
because it has this completely different kind of like feel to it. Because if like a normal, just like an E chord, fine.
Mm.
But if you go,
Yeah,
you've got so much kind of more to it.
yeah, that's what I think you lose with this copy pasting and triggers with drums, because I want to hear like or if they get tired or whatever, I want to hear all of that, and that's makes it last, or it makes it interesting or fun to hear over and over again. If it's always the same, then it's not that. I lose interest.
Yeah, no, 100%. And that's one of the things when it comes to like sound and I guess production now. It's this kind of because it's like it happens, I think, a lot with drum sound nowadays, where you've kind of got this similar sound all the time. Like I'm not 100% against it, but now I'm thinking, the more I think about it, the more I'm kind of like maybe that imperfection is what makes things so much nicer to listen to, because
Mm.
it's one of those things. It's almost like having too much of a good thing in a way.
Yeah.
Because if you get like that perfect snare hit every time, and every time you hear the snare, it's exactly the same, and it kind of loses that feeling as well. And
And I don't even like to, when you watch the players, because with the triggers, and you, there's uh, there's so much more technique going on, because now you can play like 1,000 times faster, and still just sit like this, and not not sweating or struggling or anything. And I just think it doesn't look good. uh I like that it looks good as well, because I want to see players that like mean what they play in a way. sound silly, but it is more art than it is sports. Or a contest in being the most perfect. It's so yeah. I'm very much against the use of all these triggers and things, but there are always exceptions though. But and with like industrial bands, I can understand. But and I know in the beginning when they're kind of introduced to the scene, I know the drummers were happy because the drum sound was always terrible. Maybe because sound technicians we had weren't all that great back then either. But at least you could have the kick drums sounding okay or whatever. But now it's gotten to a point where I know the people, the general technician thinks that metal drums should sound like this, and it sounds nothing like actual drums, and I don't understand how that came about. Um, because it's not so important to me to hear every fucking beat of the kick drum, and that's or in a live setting, how the kick drums are the loudest of all the music. I don't really get that, uh, but yeah, each to his own.
Because it takes away from the balance of the actual sound as well. Because when you play an actual drum kit,
Mm.
uh, the balance is always perfect, and then sometimes when you go to the live show, it's really just like kick
Mm.
cymbals sometimes, and you barely hear the snare, and that's one thing that really really annoys me as well. And another thing that I think is really really sad as well is backing tracks that play bass parts
Play
because
bass parts.
yeah, because
Mm.
it's a thing. Because I was so I used to story time. So I used to live in South Korea, and I went to a metal show, and it was mainly kind of like technical death metal, deathcore kind of thing. So I went with one of my mates, and we thought, all right, fuck it, we'll go, it'll just be fun.
Mm.
And most of the bands didn't even have bass players, and it was all
Oh.
just bass players on a backing track, and not only just the bass player, it was like the second guitar take on a backing track, and I was just thinking like, this is I don't want to see a band if I'm hearing something but not seeing someone play it.
Mm.
That makes and I don't know. I think that's really really sad. And then when one band came on, which did have a bass player, did have all of the musicians and stuff, and did kind of everything the more or, organic right way, I guess.
Mm.
It was just so refreshing because it was just everything just sounded so much more real,
Yeah.
and you can even feel it in the music as well. Because
If it's just a one band, then it's probably okay. Or if it's just a band starting out and haven't found a bass player yet. But if it's a big band who uses all these backing tracks. I've been to some. Yeah, I remember at Hellfest a couple of times. I've been backstage and I've heard, oh, so Wasp are playing or Type O Negative, or let's go in front of the stage and see what's going on. And you come around and there's no one there. Just wow, this is much backing tracks going on. It's just basically just the drummer and this super much stuff on tape.
and
Uh,
yeah, because I'm one of those people that's kind of like if you if you can't like if you can't do it live, then try not to do it in the studio because then it's that kind of authenticity to the
yeah,
kind of music that you're playing as well. Like say for example, you've got keyboards in the music and orchestrations or whatever. Find a keyboard player who can actually do that, or at
yeah.
least some of it as well, because then you get more of not only their personality, it also just kind of helps the overall sound of the music as well. Because it's very easy to go overboard in the studio and add too many things.
Mm.
and then if you're going to be playing live as well, like it's fine if you're a studio band, but when you actually bring it live, then I think there's the thing because I've with my thinking and my kind of philosophy, I'm like I always think that the live show should be better than the recording.
Yeah.
And that is for me, like if a band can pull off what they do on a recording live as well, then yeah, they're a really, really cool band. And you know they've got their shit together. And
Mm.
like speaking of Aura Noir, for example, like I much prefer listening and seeing you guys live than on CDs because the CDs are great, fucking awesome. Every album's great, but the actual real essence of Aura Noir is in that live show.
Yeah, I always thought so too, but much because of yeah, uh, I don't think I've never been like super happy with the any of our recordings, maybe, or at least not in the beginning. So I think mostly we will sound better live than on albums. So yeah, I agree at least with the R&R. With Coffin Storm, we're not a live band, so we allow ourselves to have like seven guitars on top of each other. But yeah, I had this project on the latest R&R album where yeah, let's just have everything with just the one guitar track. So whenever there's a guitar solo, it's just the bass underneath it. So that was interesting, but difficult for a novice studio engineer. But yeah, I don't mind having a guitar behind the solo, even if it's a trio. But I get your point. But I mean, if it's a band that has like one song, I don't know, like Morbid Angel, that's no, 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 no. Because I, it's expensive to bring a keyboard player for a whole tour just to play for 20 seconds. So maybe I can understand like if it's just a small part of one song that they're not bringing the guy.
No, of course, yeah, I agree with that as well. I agree with that as well because if you've got all of this orchestration or
Mm,
certain parts that require like a keyboard player for all of the songs,
yeah.
oh yeah, go for it. If you do need a backing track just for the one song, then again, that I think that's completely justified because exactly like you said, there's no point bringing on an extra musician if they're just going to be there for 20 seconds.
But I like that. Was that King Diamond? Doesn't he bring his wife or something? That's pretty cool thing. Like
Oh yeah, I did.
she like doubles the vocals, and yeah, much better than bringing a backing track. She, I just saw it some years ago. Was it King Diamond or no? It was King Diamond, not Merciful Fate. But, that worked really well. I thought saw them in Slovenia on that Metal Days or Metal Camp or whatever it's called, where Abbat had his famous fall running down the hill.
Actually, speaking of Abbath, that leads us quite nicely onto your time with Immortal. And as a fun fact, actually, so you're actually one of the reasons why I got into black metal because it was I can't remember what song it was off All Shall Fall, but it was a song off All Shall Fall that my cousin sent me, and I that was like the first time I actually enjoyed black metal
Mm.
because before he showed me like nice because black metal is one of those genres that takes a few listens before you get into it. Like he showed me some Night Side Eclipse, and then there was like some Gorgoroth stuff as well. But it was that album that really kind of made me be like, oh crap, black metal is actually really really fucking cool. Let me check out more Immortal songs, and
Mm.
then the whole kind of thing stemmed from there. So how was your time in Immortal, and how did that come about?
It came about, yeah, like I said, we didn't have much contact with those West Coast guys, but talked to them whenever they were in town. But, I was married to this girl back then, and she was from like the same place that Abbott and the guys are from, a bit outside of Bergen. So whenever we had to go to my parents-in-law I would I would call Abbas and ask for help, and he would come and drive over and take me to his place, and we would hang out there. So I did that for I don't know, a year or two, and when it was time to reform Immortal, he phoned me up and asked if I wanted to join. And I was, and he wasn't sure I wanted to, because apparently I was very underground, and so they were not sure if I was going to say yes, but for me it was an obvious yes. I mean, I've been asked by some of the bigger bands before, but turned it down. But Immortal, I've always been a fan of, both on albums and especially live. Thought they were always super entertaining to watch because of Abath, of course, very extremely maybe the best front man in the business. So yeah, easy easy yes from me to him. And yeah, it was pretty. We were a big crew and everything, and we played like really big and cool shows. So it was quite an okay time for the first yeah, most of the time. Got a bit silly towards the end, but mostly it was fun, and it was I think we even had most fun during rehearsals, because on stage it was quite funny, but equally fun at rehearsals. I'd say we did even more stuff there. Everyone was very excited and to play, and we're not just standing there even in a rehearsal situation. Just everyone giving it 100%. So that was fun. It's strange though. They're like rehearsing at 9 in the morning. Never never happened before, or never will. But they would like meet up, we drive around in the rush hour to go go to rehearsal, just because there's some letters going on there. Is it AD&D or something? But very eager to just have the rehearsal done, and then enjoy the rest of the day. So strict stuff.
All right.
Hmm.
And how much did you contribute to the writing of All Shall Fall?
Nothing at all. I lived quite far away from them. So yeah, I had moved up to the mountain region in Norway at this time. I was around where Nocturnal Culto lives. He was the only friend I had. He was like 40 minutes away by cars. So we would hang out every now and then, but I was like 4 hours away from Oslo, and probably 7 or 8 from Bergen. So yeah, I basically, for the album, I think I mean I'd heard most of the material, but much of it, I think I just came in like the day before and learned the songs, and then went to studio the next day. Well, mostly. Mm. So not much contribution. They have before. Uh, that's what I think anyway. Him and Demonas, before every album, I like to imagine they do it like this always, but they go to Abbott's cabin up in the mountains, and they have created a verb before it. It's to occultate, no, occult to, and that means to create like evil or nasty music. Let's go up and occultera. So that's what they do, and then they plan out the whole album. It has to open like huge door opening, and then the people come marching in from hell. And then they have this huge plan. And we have to have one damnation song and one. Like, they're planning out all the parts, and then even if they don't have all the riffs, they will make like while they're waiting, they will have riffs while they're searching for the perfect riff for those parts, but they would know exactly how they want the album to be, which is a very cool way to work. I've never done it that way. We always come up with just riffs and try to put them together, but they have like a vision in beforehand. So I I try to learn from it. So I've done a couple of those, not full albums, but at least songs after that. I think like the Open the Gallows songs is probably inspired by that way of thinking. Like you kind of picture how you want, what kind of song you want to make before you start making it.
Mm. That's an interesting thing because I do a very, very similar thing where it's kind of like I've got this picture in my head of how the song wants to be as
Mhm.
well. And when it comes to an album, if I'm thinking about an album, I'm thinking about, okay, how does it start and how does it end, and what kind of
Mm.
journey should the listener be taken on as well. But I love that. So it's got to be like fucking the Hellstorm for the first song, and then like an open
Yeah.
damnation song. Fuck
Yeah.
yeah, that's and it makes so much sense now. Because I was just listening to All Shall Fall earlier before we jumped on the call, and when it comes in with the clean guitar track, and
Mm.
it's kind of just like letting everyone in, and then you've got the big riffs as well, and then you guys also did the music video
Mm.
for All
Yeah.
Shall, yeah, and that was filmed in the mountains.
Yeah, it's the same place they filmed the other videos, but this was a bit higher up. It's near a glacier in a fjord on the west coast there. So, but it was that was fun. We had they had hired some young dudes with the like helicopters and things, and we were on this cliff, and the helicopter came. And it was only there for they had rented it for half an hour or something. So when it came like in front, 10 meters in front of us, and just was super atmospheric to be up there. So that was a very cool experience. It was cold too, but yeah, everyone was super excited, especially about the helicopter. But yeah.
That's amazing. And
Mm.
with so how long was the hike up to that point? And how how did you get the drum kit up there as well? Did you like the pieces, or what, how did you do it? Or did you just get a 4x4?
uh, I don't was I there when I think these guys took everything out, but it wasn't too far away from the road. There's a like slalom hill because of the glacier. This has there is snow all year round, so people, I think maybe it has like a lift and things nearby. So there was a road up there, and we were just like, I don't know, 300 meters in, but it's not heavy traffic or anything. So yeah, not very difficult to get the drums up. We just drove, and it was a couple of hours drive to down to the fjord and then up for a half an hour or something. So it's possible to get there. They showed me like on the way up where they had filmed the other the not the Blashik one. That is where,
Grim and Frostbitten Kingdoms?
yeah, correct, with the
Yeah,
Hellhammer and stuff. Because the Blashik one is around where they live, or Os, I think, outside of Bergen. This is like in Hardangerfjord. This other place, it's a couple of hours or something.
that's really cool, man. I love all these little bits of information, like the story behind the story behind the events and stuff. I love that shit. And you know what? Going back to songwriting and the way you make songs, like, what's your general philosophy when you write a song? Like, what is the main things that you look out for? What do you think that your song needs, and what do you think makes a great song?
I think, first of all, it needs great riffs, and then if that's not enough, no, I like that there's some progression at least. So whenever a riff comes back, I like to have like little twists or something, like an ending that's not the same as the previous times. Or so yeah, you can probably hear it like on the Open the Gallows song, that like that main verse riff, whenever it comes back, there's it's something is happening. And even on the chorus too, I think it's like the second time I have another riff incorporated in the ending of the riff. So just that, yeah, it's not completely static, in that something new happens next time around, because that's, at least that's what I like to listen to myself, when I can discover like small new things after, years of listening to the same song. But oh fuck, I never noticed that before. So I'm trying my best to have stuff like that, and I'm thinking about that when I'm drumming too, or playing slightly different, even if it's the same drum beat, maybe just accentuation here and there that wasn't there the first time. So I guess that's how I mainly think, um, and to like try out different uh, drum beats, or drum patterns. I like to do that because riff can change dramatically with the different kinds of drums on it. So I was listening to some old Noir stuff last night by accident, because I got this song from a friend, and then after that, just kept going, and old songs came up on, and I heard like, fuck, we played it like that, and I'm super happy it ended up like it did on the album instead. It's it just proves that uh, listening to the songs for a good while after you have made them is super important, at least for me. I don't like, they don't have to be perfect or anything, but there's always stuff after you have recorded that you would have liked to change or whatever. So what we try to do, or in the past 20 years or something, is a first record, and then maybe wait some months and just listen to it a million times, and then you can discover annoying things, because straight out of the studio everything sounds great, but give it a couple of months, and then it doesn't. So try listening, use your ears.
Yeah, for sure. Because I find that really helps as well when you take a big step back from something you've done or you're working on, and then
Mm,
coming into it fresh ears and finding little things that you did, like you said, that you found were annoying, and then
mm,
just change them and make things better.
mm,
That is again because I'm one of those people that thinks like a good album shouldn't be rushed. I
mm,
think if a band's gonna take some time on an album, I'd rather they take the time to make it feel like they've spent 5 years like thinking about an album, for example. It's like
mm,
if they release an album in, say, I don't know, 2018, and they're looking to release the album now, then I want to, okay, has like I'm thinking like have these guys been thinking about this album for 6 years and does it feel like 6 years worth of work in a way?
Probably not, but you know.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the thing. So and that's maybe my expectations are high, but maybe it's because I've bought albums that I didn't enjoy, or I liked one song and I didn't like
Mm.
the whole thing, and it always sucks when that happens. But it's one of those things, and
But you end up listening to yourself a lot, which is not uh, uh, like last year. I
hmm.
listened to that fucking Coffin Storm album so many times. It's embarrassing, but that's it's only for the greater cause, but just because I want to avoid being ashamed when it comes out, and I'm slightly ashamed, but not that much.
Will there
Mm.
be another Coffin Storm album, do you think?
I think so.
Cool.
This we had, yeah. Even Fenris was complaining that we were making new songs before the album was finished, because me and Ola, we kept going to rehearsals and just making new shit. So I don't know how much we have. There's so many riffs and songs, but we're constantly like changing things. But I think we had like 3 4 songs that we did record one song that didn't make it on the album, both because it sounded a bit different. It only had, yeah, that was the one that only had the 2 overheads, so the sound was a bit different. And uh and the album with the vinyl version, that's important nowadays, which is good. um it was just too long for the quality, so we had to just take one away. um but yeah, but we lost our rehearsal place in December, so we haven't rehearsed since that. But we will uh, we will find a new place soon, or just rehearse back here for a while, and then go somewhere proper to do it with drums and everything.
Mm.
Mm.
So the rehearsal space, was that a place that you private, as in that you guys owned or privately rented for yourself, or was it just more of a public one and you brought your equipment over to it?
It was a friend of ours, or some friends of ours, rehearsal place. Like, I think there were like 3 bands in there, but really central in Oslo, next to our favorite pub. So we would basically meet there after work on Fridays and just grab a beer and then go rehearse. And it was tiny though, but with only 2 people, it was the perfect size. And yeah, very central. But uh, they're turning it into parking, like a garage now, for the new government building that silly dude exploded some 13 years ago. So um, but that happens with all rehearsal places. They're always just temporary.
That's a big shame that you're losing the rehearsal space as well. And it's a similar thing that's kind of happening in the UK because a lot of like the venues that people used to play at are just kind of going.
Mm,
Because we used to have quite a few here, and now for smaller bands, there's really only like three good ones for between like 100 and 300 capacity,
yeah.
because COVID kind of destroyed one of the nicest venues that on the underground scene, which was the Unicorn, and that always was like a really good hotspot because there always used to be some kind of extreme. Like 10 years ago, there used to be like some extreme metal night almost every single weekend, and it
Mm,
was always free entry. The music scene's become very, very different lately. Like more venues are closing, more people are writing and creating music by themselves, and there's less kind of interaction now,
mm,
especially in the London scene, for all the extreme and black metal stuff. It's still there, but just not as much as there was. Like wasn't, there's less gigs happening, like less really good gigs. When there used to be always like a big band coming like every month and stuff, and Brexit hasn't made that easier. So
Yeah, that was really terrible coming over this time, or not terrible, but you suddenly have this. I don't know. We had to fill out these special forms and things, and we were in customs for 20 minutes, and even if we had our papers were okay, it seemed like the clerk didn't quite know what to do, and neither did we. So we were just standing there looking stupid for a while, and then we were good to go. But yeah, it's kind of a mini USA version of work visas and all that.
Lamented Souls.
Yeah,
Are there any plans to bring that back?
not really. We talked about it, but then it just, I don't know. I don't think so. Uh, who knows? So it's still just on ice. And but when was the last rehearsal we had? Probably when I was up in the mountains like 14 years ago. I think we did meet, or I had all of them come up there and we played some songs and recorded some stuff that was never released, obviously. Only instrumentals. Um, but yeah, I'm not seeing that happen anytime soon, at least. But who knows? It's like yeah, it's slow music, so it's easy to play. We can get back together when we're 70, and we'll still sound okay, I guess. So, but at the moment, nothing is happening.
Gotcha. And
Mm.
going back to Immortal, what songs were the most fun to play live, and which ones were your favorite?
Um, I know at least the one I always was like stuck in my head after rehearsals was no 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 no. Um,
I can't think of the song off the top of my head.
I think we only played it like once, or I think we played it in Chile or something. But yeah, apart from those, I enjoyed playing actually most of the songs, but some are more inspiring than others. I think I wasn't too. I had like kind of stopped buying Immortal after. I think the last one I bought before I joined the band was Down in Black, because I was a bit tired of the whole going to that Abyss studio. I think it sounds a bit the same. I love the first At the Heart of Winter,
Mm.
um, but then uh, I wished they had tried something different for the following albums, and I was like heavily trying to influence them. I think I had convinced them to try to record more at least the drums more acoustically for the next album, Mountains of Might.
That's it. Yeah. Do you remember the intro to Battles in the North? The
Yeah. Dun,
no.
dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because that's been fucking with me for a good few years, and I haven't cracked.
I remember playing it. Mm, dun, dun, dun. Yeah. No, the only thing I remember is that he didn't play it the way I had pictured it like before when I listened to the album. Dun, 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 dun. They're always in such a hurry; they can't wait for the song to end. There's always these super abrupt endings in at rehearsals too. So they play everything very fast.
Why is it that Immortal played in D and played a lot of the old songs in D? Was it just because Sons of Northern Darkness was recorded in D, they just had the guitar set up in that and played the songs in D standard tuning?
Possibly,
All right.
possibly. Maybe they liked the sound or had. Yeah, that's one thing. By the way, with Coffin Storm, because uh, that's the thing that we have standard tuning, because that was kind of a challenge for us to have, like, play heavy music but keep the standard tuning, not cheat with the, because when you, it's so much in that genre, a doom metal, not that we're typically doom metal, but it's so much orange amplifiers and very or D tuning, or even lower than that. Everything sounds kind of cool and heavy when you, but it's cool to do not cheat and still sound heavy. Um, I don't know why Immortal played in D. Probably something they picked up in the Abyss Studios, or after the tour with Morbid Angel or something. Everyone gets so affected by touring with them, which is not weird because they're so amazing. Remember, we were on tour with Morbid Angel too, with that Cadaver band, and suddenly, the first song the guitarist made after was extremely Morbid Angel. It's like, wow. It's very, very easy to be influenced when you see bands like that. So I watch Pete Sandoval every night, and Trey Asictoth, and his solos would get better. The better weed he got every night, the better the solos. Or we both had the same provider, I guess. Made sense, but very special guys. Even if I kind of didn't listen to them after Altars of Madness, really, but still great live band and amazing musicians.
Hell yeah. Because I
Mm.
haven't had the opportunity to see Morbid Angel or I Am Morbid, because I
Mm.
can't really keep up with what's what nowadays. But I did see Ultimus
Yeah,
with Blasphemer and
I haven't seen them.
have you not seen Ultimus?
No, they played. We were like, me and Ola were DJing during in the Infernal Festival, like in the club next to the venue. That was the day Coffin Storm was released, and I noticed that fuck Rune or Ultimus were playing, but that was while we were DJing, and but people who came back from the show were super happy, and it was much better than they had expected and everything. So, yeah, I wish I had been there, and I'll be sure to catch them next time.
Oh, for sure.
Was
Yeah.
it okay?
See, I wasn't at the festival, but I did see Ultimus in 2020
Yeah.
because they were touring with Abath and
Oh
1349.
yeah, true.
Yeah, yeah, I saw them there, and it was a good show. It was a really cool show, and that was the first time I saw. Well, no, the second time I saw Blasphemer play,
Mm.
and I picked up on how he kind of does stuff, and like how we were talking about before, with all those like fast, palm muted,
Mm.
tremor picked, chromatic kind of runs.
He's insane. Abbas too has his special style that is very hard to copy. I think he makes most of his songs on classical guitar, and that's why it
Mm.
sounds like it does. Most of the riffs he plays on classical guitar at home before, so they already sound cool and full when he comes over to their electric guitar. Yeah, but he's very special style that nobody can really copy. And but Rune Blasphemer is so precise in everything he does. I went
Yeah.
to visit a studio of some guys I know. I moved the studio from Oslo over to like the area where I live, and I went to visit them uh, like some months ago, and he said he has had like all the big bands in Norway in his studio, and he said Blasphemer is by far the best guitarist he's ever had. Or like everything is first take and dead on and precise and all that. And I've tried to make riffs like the most difficult riffs I could, just to challenge him, but he always comes in and just watches me play once and just done. Like on the Merciless album, I think he hadn't really heard any of the songs before, and he came in the night before and first take on all the songs the next day.
Oh, wicked. See, I love that. I can, and I remember watching him play as well. It's like everything was just fucking so precise as well, and there's not even that much gain. There's few musicians that have projects where every single project and thing that they've been on has been good. You're one of them, where it's like Aura Noir's great, Coffin Storm's great, your time in Immortal, all the Immortal stuff you did was great, the stuff you did in Gorgroth's great, Satanic Art great, the Lamented Soul stuff was really cool, and I think Blasphemy is another one of those examples as well, because the Mayhem stuff, Aura Noir, Ruin, except yeah, it's just that's one of the reasons why I was really excited to have a chat with you as well, because you're just an exceptional musician, and it's
But
and
I'm not. But exceptional. But I like to think that I have good ears and good taste. But I'm not much of a musician. I'm a much better football player. That's what I was doing when I was a kid. Practicing before and after school every fucking day. But I never practiced much on any instrument. So what I will do is I will have the music in my head, and then I will learn it afterwards, or like have the drum beats or whatever. And I'll try to learn what I have in my head. So yeah, it's mostly inside here, and I struggle like playing some of it, but I try to like hide behind or just make an unexpected like drum beats or whatever, or play different notes or do things to make it interesting, to yeah, to hide my lack of technical skills or whatever. I know what I like, and I generally, I think I'm able to let my attitude through my playing, at least, even if I'm much more sloppy than most people.
Oh, I wouldn't say your playing is sloppy at all. No, I've seen
I
you.
mean, it's much thought through and it's done on purpose. Much of it, it's not, but it's not. I never do anything that's difficult. The only quality I ever had that I was satisfied with 100% were my vocals, like back in 2004 or 5, where we were rehearsing a lot and playing a lot, and I felt that I had 100% control of my voice, and it was fun. I never got tired or hoarse or anything. But then I had like an unwanted break for 4 years or something, and I got hoarse, and I didn't know what was going on. I had stopped smoking in the meantime, and like before I did the vocals for Hades Rise, I think I took up smoking again. Just I tried everything, but I think it was just lack of training, because now it's coming back again, and it was maybe the microphone wasn't too cool where I was recording, and I know that when we played live the past years, when I like before COVID, I wasn't too confident in my vocals, so I would and when you don't have enough monitors, you scream your voice away because you don't trust that it sounds great, out front. But now I trust. We have a sound guy too that is a an old friend, and I know he creates the best possible sound for us, and it's much more fun, and yeah, the vocals are coming back slightly to do the old form, but yeah, like the only thing I was totally confident in were my vocals a long time ago. No, but in studio or in a rehearsal setting, you can always get away with things, and yeah, I always try to like create. I'm very inspired by Lars Ulrich actually with my drumming. I think he has the same thing, or maybe he's a bit. It seems he's less musical than I am. At least when I hear their old rehearsals, he's like losing track of the songs here and there. But I still think he creates very cool drum beats, and he has these unexpected accents and things that makes it uh, very interesting, and it sounds it sounds perfect for that music, because you would expect I saw when Dave Lombardo and some other dudes had to fill in for him. Was that in England, wasn't it? Some
I'm
show. I think there was Slipknot. There was something like different drummers had to fill in for. There was something.
I
But it didn't sound. It sounds better when Lars Ulrich played than when Dave Lombardo played like the Master of Puppet songs. So it shows that it's not all about its technical skills, but also about taste and a bit in the head.
mm. And
Mm.
that's two things that's so important. It's an ear, like I said before. Like for me, when it comes to music and working with people and bands and everything, it's all about having that ear, really listening out to everything. Another thing as well is that attitude, letting your own personality shine out through the music as well,
Mm.
because it's very easy for like a new musician to try and take things a bit further than where they are, and they're trying to get to like this one level but they're not there yet and they're really
Yeah.
frustrated, or they want to
Yeah.
try and be like someone else. And a lot of it is of course admirable and very very understandable, but later down the line it's like it's okay to not be um like your heroes, because it's better to be more of yourself.
Yeah. But yeah, but I'm also very much like a team player. I guess maybe that's from football or something, but to just listening to what the other guys are doing. Like I'd rather pass the ball to the next guy and let him score than do it yourself every fucking time. But yeah, so yeah, I'm very aware of what's going on. Try to make the whole package, sound good instead of just playing whatever.
No, of course, because it's all about the bigger picture really, and
Mm,
that message and the the collective
yeah.
teamwork.
Mm.
Oh, that's so much. That's so important. And what advice do you have for people who are um, learning music now, whether it be drums, guitar, bass, or even vocals or piano? What advice do you have for those guys?
Never. What do I have advice? First of all, are you talented? I try. Um, I was really, yeah. Some of my students were like, it was easy to be the teacher of, the ones who were actually interested in learning stuff or motivated, but some have just had been sent by their parents and had no desire to be there at all. So, and I was terrible teacher for them, I guess, and no patience at all. But yeah, what advice do I have? No, just I guess you just have to practice a lot and listen to a lot of cool musicians. Um, I don't, I'm not skilled at all, but I think what works for me at least is find someone else to play with, because that's so much more it goes so much faster when you have someone to play with. I think that's how you really develop, not just playing by yourself. That's uh, boring, or maybe not for everyone, but it's much more fruitful to play with other people, even if they're not on your level. Or yeah, that's my advice for tonight.